guys, and I'm gonna talk about my natural birth experience. And man, was this story crazy. Only because I pretty much barely made it to the hospital. I almost had him in the car. And it was not a natural birth that was planned. It's not like I wanted to do it. I really wanted medication, but it didn't work out like that. So, I'm gonna start off with the points where I'm like going into labor, and you know it's you can never. It's really weird because I've had 3 kids, and you just never know when you're going into labor. You get cues. So for like a week, which each kid, I kind of knew. I was like, man, it's gonna happen soon. Like you just feel it. You get this little like gut feeling where you just like, it's gonna happen, but you just don't know when because there's no like predictor on the face of the planet of the Earth. And I always go early, so my due date is out the window. I always go like 2 weeks early. I went really early with a couple. Well, I went early with all my kids, but whatever. So yeah. So with Anakin, my second, it was like all natural labor only because I clearly, like I said, I didn't make it to the hospital in time, which at the time I didn't even know. So I'm gonna go into like when my water breaks and stuff. Let's. So I was like a crazy fool, I was nesting a lot, and I just kind of knew it was gonna happen, but I was felt like it was so far. And that's another thing that you feel when you're pregnant. You just feel like it's so far away. You're like, when is it gonna happen? You just never know, and then it happens, and you're like, oh man, that happened fast. But I fell asleep. I want to say I finally closed my eyes and fell asleep. I maybe fell asleep for like 10 minutes. I kid you not. And it was like 12:50. I woke up and I jumped up out of bed. Like I felt like I had to pee, and then I looked down and then it was like psh, water. My water broke. So I like screamed for my husband. He got up and he was like, "Okay, like let's go. I called my mom. I was like, "Hey, you gotta come over here. Come watch Eli. I'm gonna go to the hospital." And she's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "My water broke." And she's like, "All right." So my mom, mind you, my mom lives, I want to say like 15 minutes away, you know. So she rushed over as quickly, but she had to get her stuff and all that nonsense. And so I want to say, I'm at this point, I'm not feeling nothing. I'm feeling contractions, and I'm like, ugh, like I'm starting to feel them. And I tell my husband like I'm starting to feel them, but they're not happening like every 2 minutes. They're happening like every 5 minutes, And that's when you're supposed to go to the hospital. So I started feeling pressure, and I was like, oh, man, this is different. Like I'm starting to feel pressure like down, and I was like, okay, like we gotta go. So I grabbed like my pillows, I grabbed my heating pad because you need a heating pad. Trust me, it helps soothe the pain because after birth, the postpartum, and that's gonna be another thing I gotta talk about. That postpartum, y'all, it's a different. That's a whole different beast of its own. Like pregnancy, postpartum, it ain't got nothing on pregnancy. I'm gonna tell you that. So whole new set of hormones. So, anyways, I got all my stuff, put it in the car, and I had to put a towel down because I didn't want to get the seat wet. I changed and everything. Like I changed my underwear and my pants because I was like, I'm not gonna walk in there with wet camper. What the heck? So I sat. I went to sit down, and I felt like I could not sit down on my butt. I was like, oh my gosh. I like kind of like sat on. It was like sitting on my feet, and my husband's like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, I feel a lot of pressure on my butt, and I'm like holding the thing and like not sitting on my butt. And I was like, we have to go to the hospital. And I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want to be like, oh my gosh, I think the baby's like right there. But I wanted him to speed up. So I'm like, all right, we gotta go. Because I don't want to say that and then be like, no, the baby's not right there, weirdo. And I'm like, okay. So I feel like I have a bowling ball like about to fall out of my uterus for nothing. So I he's rushing, going as fast as he can, as fast as he can. My husband does not speed. He goes like 5 over the speed limit, and he thinks that's speeding. And I'm like, speed up. Like I'm screaming at him, like speed up. He's like, I'm going as fast as I can. I'm like, no, like speed up, like run red lights. Like don't. Why are you sitting here? I'm legit like I feel like a baby's about to come out. And he's like, still stopping our lights, whatever. So we finally get to the hospital, and I want to say, we got to the hospital probably like 150 or 155 or something like that. Get in there with all our stuff, and I told the guy like my water broke. It's a security guard, mind you. They're not medical staff; they're security guard. So he's just like on the phone, yeah, and I'm telling him like I gotta get in there, like trying to get him to know like it's coming out, and he's like, okay, like not believing me, like everyone comes in here like it's falling out of my vagina. Okay, so he's on the phone and he's like, yeah, she says she's in labor. Doesn't even tell them my water broke. You you are freaking wow. Pendejo. Really? Okay. I think I'm in labor. My water broke. Tell the nurses that. So these girls, they took forever to come out. So I get checked in at 2, right? Because that's when he puts your name in the system when you come in. And I'm sitting there like, at this point, I'm grabbing the seat. I couldn't even sit down. I started grabbing the seat and I'm like, like breathing so hard, and I was like grunting. I'm starting to grunt because I'm like, I'm not gonna make it in there. Like I'm about to have the baby right here on the floor. And my husband's like rubbing my back, and he was like, the guy's like, are you all right? William, do I look alright? Do I look alright to you? He had the audacity to ask me, shocked, like, are you okay? What are you doing over there? I have a creature crawling out of me. No, no, I'm not alright. I'm falling apart. And you told them some lie that I think maybe something happened? No. So I'm sitting there panicking. Finally, he's like, I think he called again because he realized, like, oh shit, like, she's going into, oh shiitake mushrooms. I should have been more. So he gets on the phone again. He's like, oh, I just want to make sure someone's coming out, and because she's like in a lot of pain, like she's screaming. And the nurse is like, oh yeah, someone's coming out right now. So he's like, oh, someone's coming right now. And I'm like grabbing I couldn't even walk. I was like keeled over. So finally I get to the thing, and you gotta pee in a cup. I told her, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even think I can pee in this cup, but I'm gonna try pee in this cup. If it's water, liquid, I'll vomit in this cup. I don't care, but I don't think you're gonna get no pee for me, girl. And she's like, it's okay, just do what you can. So got the gown on in the bathroom. I went, and you still gotta go to another waiting room. That's another thing. You're not done yet. There's another spot you gotta go, so they could hook you up to machines and touch on you and then say, maybe. So I get to the actual waiting room part where you like the nurses are, determining. And she didn't put me on no machines. She didn't hook me up to nothing. She literally checked me if I was dilated. Like, she checked me and she looked at me like, I think she felt his head. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And she goes, okay, well, I'm going to go get the room ready for you because you're definitely having this baby. And she, like, ran out of the room, and I hear, like people running. Pitter-patter out the door. And I'm looking at my husband like, I'm, like, in a lot of pain. And at this point, I'm still kind of like, oh, my gosh, like, I'm probably just going to have the baby right here. And I'm trying really hard to, like, hold back the contraction. I'm trying to just make it slow down in my brain, but that's not working. So mind you, like I said, I checked in at 2, right? So then she runs in the room and she goes, okay, we're gonna get you to your room. Do you need a wheelchair, or do you think you can walk? I jumped up so freaking quick. I started running. I was like, oh, I got this. And she started laughing. She was like, oh man, you really I was like, I gotta get this thing out. So I laid on the bed, and I was in so much pain at that point. I looked at the nurse, and I was like, do you think I'll be able to get an epidural? And she's just like, yeah, we're gonna see. We'll see. And in her head, I knew that she was like, "Are you stupid? You're not getting no epidural." But she was trying to be nice, and she didn't want me to freak out, but I was freaking out. So the other nurse, so there was like three nurses, right? Because at this point they think that they're gonna have to catch this baby. So there's like more experienced nurse, and she's just like kind of like watching. Like she even told me to shut up. Apparently, I was screaming too loud. Who would have known? Something's flying out of me with no medication. But I was screaming too loud. Apparently, I'm gonna freak out the other moms. And the other nurse proceeded to like, cause I started getting like, I was, you know, she was like rubbing my back. She was like doing this little nut thing in there, trying to like make the pain stop. Like every contraction just got like stronger, longer, and I got to a point where I was like feeling like my body was like, you need to push. And she was holding my legs, like my knees together. Like, first of all, my gut, I couldn't even do it, but she somehow was like holding my knees together. And I was like, I pulled my knees apart because I was pushing. And she was like, "Are you pushing?" And I was like, "No." And then she's like, I looked at her and I was like, "I'm not getting the epidural, am I?" And I'm like, that's the only thing I can think about. And she's like, "Sweetie, I literally checked you and I can, like, he's there. Like, he's in the birth canal." And I was just like, "Can you kill me?" And she was just like, "No, no." And I was like, "Please." And my husband, I didn't even want to look at him. I didn't want him breathing on me. He was standing next to the bed trying to like be supportive, and I wanted to kill him because he doesn't have to go through this. I do. Like, this is so unfair. Like, oh my god, I want to be a guy, hands down. I want to be a guy. And yeah. So, anyways, so he, you know, I'm sitting there and I pull my knees from her. I said, I can't have my legs closed. And I yanked my knee from her and I grabbed the bed and I just started pushing. And she was like, "No, no, 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 no." She's like, "Not yet, not yet." And I said, "I can't hold it. I have to push." And she said, "Okay." So she told the nurse to like hurry up and put the stuff. Cause the other nurse, she must have been new. She must have just got out of school. I don't know what was going on with her, but she obviously never had this happen to her. So she was dropping everything, like the baby's blankets and stuff, the blanket she's supposed to put on my butt, she's like throwing it in the hamper after she dropped it, and she's grabbing everything, and the other nurse is looking at her, she's like, "Put it under her butt." So she gets it like under my butt, and because they have to put like a sheet under there to catch all the fluids that come flying out of you when the baby comes out. And I went down like this, like I grabbed my hands, because I was, at this point I'm like, I think he's there, and like I touched, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he's there, like his head was right there. And I was like, I'm pushing, and I started pushing, and the nurse runs out, like she gave her a cue, she was like, and I don't know, I guess in nurse, in hospital language, this means go get the doctor, like do something, I don't know what that means, but you know, if you're a nurse and you do something like that, you know what that means, I guess. Because I'm thinking, oh, she's telling her, I don't know what she did, like, "Go fetch me the trolley." I don't know what she did. She told her to go do something. Like, this girl, like, took off. Like Usain Bolt. This girl was running. And I was like, oh, okay, she didn't want to be part of this. And all of a sudden, like, I'm not even 2 seconds later, she brings in this random guy, because they couldn't get a hold of my doctor. She brings in a random dude. Obviously, I'm hoping he was a doctor. I mean, for all I know, he impersonated a doctor. And he stands there, he like puts my legs in the stirrups, and I push, and he like literally, my baby just like flew out, like he like caught him, and he's like, "Okay," so cut the cord and walked out. Didn't say 2 words to me. Didn't like, "Okay, do you want your husband to cut?" No, he just caught him, snip cut, walked out. My husband was like holding his hands, like ready to like cut the cord, and he's like, "Okay," and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, just do that. Okay. Do you know, Mr. Doctor? You didn't even ask me nothing. You don't know who I am. I didn't even know who he was. I just saw a glimpse. It was like a blur, bloop, bloop, and then my baby was out. I was like, wow, okay, this is new. And the nurse was like, okay, let's get you cleaned up. I'm checking my baby. He was so tiny too. He was like 6 pounds, and I legit was like, my gosh, like my husband, like me and him were like, I'm just, no, girl. Let me tell you something. To the women who want to have a natural labor, good for you. That's your thing. It's not my thing. It's not something that I enjoy going through. It was probably, but one thing I can say, that wasn't my phone. That was lightning. Oh my gosh, I hate thunderstorms. I hate thunderstorms. Anyways. I don't do it. I don't do thunderstorms. So, anyways. So, yeah. So, good for you. That's what you want to do. Good luck. It usually doesn't work out like that. But you know what? Let me tell you something. To the women who've had C-sections, to the women who've had a baby with epidural, to the women who've had a, you know, anything, any way that you've had a baby, in a pool, um, in a house with a mouse, in a tree with a bee, and in a box with a fox. However you have a baby is a miracle, and you're a queen. And if you have babies for other people who can't have babies, you're a queen. Um, if you purchased your baby on eBay, that's illegal, but okay. And if you adopted a baby, you're still a mom and you still went through something. And however you had a baby, if you had a baby, you're amazing. It's not easy, it's hard, and being a mom is hard, and I wouldn't, you know, yeah, we're awesome. We're women are perfect, and men, you suck. That's it. Okay, end of story. Alright, you guys, thank you for hearing my story. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for staying till the end. It was a crazy endeavor. Oh, by the ways, I had birth in 49 minutes. I got to the hospital at 2 and I had him at 2:49. My water broke at 12:55. And yeah, so it was about like 3 hour labor, right? If you didn't know, right? Like 2 hours, something like that. Well, yeah, subscribe to my channel, like my video, leave a comment, and let me hear your crazy stories. I want to know, what's your craziest adventure, I guess you could say, or motherhood, or you know what I mean? Catch you later, and stay tuned for the next video. So subscribe.